Well, Hutchinson will have his work cut out for him. He's going up against Eastern Carolina's own Alex Peltier, who's up in the batter's box, batting right. Hutchinson paints across the first strike of the evening.
Well, that's a good first pitch strike in there. The big thing against going against this big train lineup with SEC-type talent is going to be the first pitch strike.
Hutchinson delivers the 1-0-1, that is, and it's fouled away. And Alex Peltier hails from Haymarket, Northern Virginia guy, at 6'2", has had 18 at-bats and a .333 batting average. So after a strike and a foul ball, the 0-2 on the way from Hutchinson. Soft grounder to first. Norton's going to shuffle it over for the first out. Right back to the glove of Hutchinson.
Well, that's a good play right there by the Aces first baseman, Riley Norton. Not only did field that ground ball, but throw it on over to Hutchinson for the first out of the game.
A great out, Norton. Very strong, making the play. So Peltier's out on a putout towards the right side. Wright is going to step up, the shortstop for the big train.
Well, that's a good job there by Hutchinson getting the first out of the inning. The first out's always the best one to get, especially the leadoff man here.
Middle of the top of the order. Pushes across the strike is Hutchinson. So it's right up now. Due up is Steele. In the hole is Panette, and the rest of the lineup goes like this. Gonzalez Emilio, Josh Goronsky, Parker Corbin, Brett Ott. Pitch on the way, it's fouled. And Jacob Hauk. Last two of those players play locally for the Terrapins, University of Maryland.
Yeah, a few couple other Maryland guys also on this big train team as well.
0-2, another grounder, this one towards the second baseman, Huber. Strong throw, and the out.
Well, that's a good job by Huber right there. That was a tough ground ball, but he made a good job making that play and getting the speedy runner for out number 2.
It was not much of a softer. Huber had to be steadfast to make the catch. It was right on his chest. And that will spring up Peyton Steele, the right fielder. So 2 ground outs, one to first and the other one is second. Hutchinson unwinds, and this is going to be a liner into the glove of Hankerson. He didn't have to make too much of a step as he went over into the shallow area of the outfield. So it's out with 3 putouts through the middle of the first. It is Big Train nothing, Aces nothing, all on putouts.
Well, that was a really good job right there by Connor Hutchinson. Even though he did get up some contact, he did a really good job of not allowing that to get into the gaps. And that was a really big start right there for the Aces to kind of get out of that inning and for the first time go 1-2-3 here in this game.
It is still 0-0. Still 0-0. Couple of putouts. A strong grounder in that second out. So let's see what the Aces have done. Couple of games that they have 8 runs. Different circumstances, I would say, Drew.
Well, yeah, it's been a very mixed bag for the Aces so far this season, especially home versus away. At home, it seems like they've been getting a good amount of runs, but we saw, as we were at South Carolina, only 1 run that the Aces scored against the Braves. And then similarly, on Monday night against the Thunderbolts, only 2 runs as well. So their offense has got to pick it up here, especially on the road.
Yeah, on the road, they are 1-3. Their only win came yesterday by the hair of their skins. It is so neat just to see the players just get together, cultivate, play. And around this time last year, it was when the Big Train came here for the first game of the season. We had James Quinn Irons come up, and the team just went forward from there. 25-11, and this is no team that you want to scoff your head at. This is probably the measuring stick of the whole league.
Oh, absolutely, and you can just look at it by the type of players that they get drawn in. It's very rare where SEC-type players come into this league, and it's no coincidence that a lot of them choose to play for the Big Train. That's exactly what happened. 5 SEC players on the Big Train roster this summer.
And a couple from the American Athletic, a returning player from Florida Atlantic, and Emilio Gonzalez. As we get started with the bottom of the first, Toby Huber up to bat. He's on deck, waiting for these couple of practice pitches from Drew Bellis, the left-handed man.
Well, Drew Bellis is a freshman, pitched this past season at the University of Central Florida. That's a big-time power program right there in the Big 12. So, again, it's not just the position players that the Big Ten get. It's pitchers as well, as we see Drew Bellis. Only 2 innings pitched for the UCF Knights this past spring, so not a whole lot of action, but in that action, 2 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned run. So again, not a huge sample size, but in a small sample size, he did a solid job, all things considered.
So now it's Toby Huber, the Cincinnati native, who's going to get his first crack at Bellis, left-handed man. First offering from Bellis. Strike 1 inside.
Well, we're going to see some really good pitchers and hitters tonight for the Big Train, and it's really important for the Aces not to get that wrapped up in their heads about some of the schools that these guys go to, because we've seen many D3 guys overperform against.
Up the middle, towards second base, just squirts into the shallow portion of the center field. And Huber is aboard with the single, and that'll spring up Almeida.
Well, that's a really good job right there by Toby Huber. And again, he does exactly what he did on Monday night. Hits a leadoff single, and hopefully the Aces this time can do something that they didn't do against the Thunderbolts on Monday, which is get a run here in the bottom of the first.
Shortstop Almeida near the top of the order. Ball 1 up high. So just to let the folks at home know about the lineup for the Aces, Huber up to first on a single, Almeida up to bat, Miller, and then it's Riley Norton, the cleanup spot, E.J. Hankerson, ball 2 to the outside again, Diego Pana, the catcher, Michael Powell, Cooper Hums, and John Colligan rounding out the order. For the home team, Aces at 3-3. The 1-0. Strike to the outside.
Well, that's a really good pitch right there by Bellis. That looked that a chance that ball could have potentially gone to the outside, but that's a good job even up the count there at 1-1.
Just to correct myself, it was a 2-0. Now it's 2-1 after the strike. With 1 aboard, no run so far for both teams. The run takes off. Strike back at home. Throw is in time. Huber's out, caught stealing. Almeida hasn't even counted 2-2.
Well, that's a tough break right there for the Aces, but that looked like it was the right call. Toby Huber, even though he got a good jump, tagged out at second. So now 1 gone here, nobody out here for Almeida.
2 balls, 2 strikes, and 1 out on Huber, caught stealing. And Bellis paints it up high. So it is a full count with
good.
1 out, and no runs so far here in Frank Mann Field.
Good eye right there by Almeida to make the count full.
Paying it off is Bellis, and he puts it right between the glove side and the shin of Almeida, and he's aboard on a free pass.
Well, that's a good job there by not only Almeida, but Huber in his first at-bat as well. Both of these Aces hitters so far have reached base. Unfortunate that Huber got caught stealing there. But at the same time, the Aces are doing a good job getting on base, and when you get on base, good things can happen.
1 out on the Aces. Miller up to bat. Outside. A couple of those pitches, he's trying to paint it a little bit wide of the zone. The 1-0 with 1 out. This is a sharp liner, gloved by the second baseman, and the throw to first. 9-time infield single.
Well, that was a really good play made there by the Big Train's shortstop, Brennan Wright, over there at shortstop. I mean, he went on a full-out dive and was able to make the throw over to second. So now there's 2 outs with Gavin Miller reaching at first via the fielder's choice.
By fielder's choice, it's Riley Norton due up. Given time for Miller. He's set at first now.
So again, that's now 3 straight Aces hitters that have reached base. They're doing a good job here, putting some balls in play.
Bellis' first offering to Norton is called strike to the outside and low corner.
Well, Riley Norton so far has struggled a little bit this summer. He's 1 of 13 so far this summer for the Aces.
Up high that time.
Well, a lot of Billis's misses have been arm side so far, especially with the fastball.
Now the 1-1. He tried to climb the ladder, and he's down on the count.
Yeah, that was another high fastball thrown right there by Billis. And with 2 strikes here, he'll probably go back to it there to get the strikeout.
So 2 outs, 1 on a fielder's choice just a moment ago. And caught stealing for Huber to start things off. And he struck out the side as Billis. So through the first inning, very quick inning I might add, Aces and Big Train still scoreless.
Well, all things considered, a solid inning right there by the Aces. That caught stealing really did come back to bite them a little bit. But at the same time, really good ABs there, especially by the top of the lineup, Huber, Almeida, and Miller. We'll go to the top of the second. Our score, still 0.
Hey, Frank? Yeah. What happened to the walk-up? Well, I don't know. Matt's trying to figure it out.
So this season, as we move into the second inning, 20 games for all of the Ripken League teams, 8 on June the 20th. So there's Connor Hutchinson from Troy getting work through. Back at College, Ball State, 33 2/3 innings pitched, has allowed 24 walks, 43 hits, but had the 8th best strikeouts on the team with 26. And due up for the Big Train is Logan Panett. Couple of more practice pitches. A nice hazy day here in Frank Mann Field. And here comes Panett. 11 RBIs and 7 runs and 9 hits on the season from Wilmington, the sophomore.
Logan Panett.
Okay. Every team has their own track manager. I feel like last year, didn't you get called to do it? Like, I got the Big Train called me to do one of their games, but it didn't involve us. Oh, interesting.
Still scoreless game. The Aces have registered a hit on the single from Huber to start things off. Panett looked at ball 1 towards the outside. It's low and away. 1-0 on the way. High foul ball. Just behind the backstop.
Panett plays his spring ball at North Carolina Charlotte. Native out of Wilmington, North Carolina.
After the foul ball, Hutchinson. And Panett fouls it away yet again.
Well, this has been a good job by Hutchinson in this game. He's done a really good job not getting and not falling behind in counts. We haven't seen a lot of 3-ball counts, even 2-ball counts. Hutchinson's doing a good job attacking the hitters right away.
Another foul ball. It'll remain 1-2. The last time Hutchinson played, he struck out 1 batter, the infielder Calvin Cook, against the Senators. And that was the second game of the Aces season. It was a 3-7 win for the Senators on the road for the Aces. 1-2. Just in the 3-4 hole into the outfield and a base hit.
Well, there's nothing you can really do about that if you're the Aces there. There wasn't really a second baseman there to make that play. Just kind of a lazy ground ball, but again, just kind of perfectly shot in between, like you said, the 3-4 hole. So that'll be a leadoff base hit right there for the Big Train.
Leadoff base hit to spring in the Cape Coral, Florida native, Emilio Gonzalez. Second-year man for the Big Train.
Well, I was watching him in BPN. This guy, lots of power, as you wouldn't be surprised, coming in at 6'3", 230.
He's engaged as Emilio Gonzalez after looking at ball one. A good eye on his part. Runner does not take off, but he fouls it into the fence behind.
And Gonzalez himself has had a really good season here so far this summer. 8 for 23. That's good for a 347 average.
No outs for the big train in a scoreless game. This one towards the shortstop and Almeida, and he does not glove it. Will spring a man to third in Panette, and the third base coach shows red. So the runners in the corners, Emilio Gonzalez on base safely.
Well, we'll see what they choose to score that. It did go off Almeida's glove, but they are going to score that a hit. So that's going to be back-to-back hits so far for the big train.
They're one up on the hitting department, or the big train. 3-3. And it's Josh Skoronski, another player returning for the big train this season. Looks at strike one to the lower half.
I was taking a look at the runs per game leaders so far in the Ripken League, and the big train are averaging 10 runs per game, which leads the Cal Ripken League by a total of 4 runs. They're scoring 4 more runs per game than any other team in this league. Now, again, that does get skewed a little bit by their 21-run performance a couple days ago, but at the same time, this offense can put up runs in a hurry.
1-1 into the dirt. The runners are in the corners with a potential first run at third, and Panette got on base on a single up the right side, and a single for Emilio Gonzalez, who's at first. And that one's inside.
Well, this is a big pitch here. You can't fall behind 3-1 in the count and potentially load the bases. So Hutchinson needs a big pitch here to even up this count.
The Troy, Ohio native winds up the 3-1 to Norton, and he does not glove it. And Panette scores, and the big train have an early lead. Emilio Gonzalez advances to second, and at first safely is Skoronski.
Well, that's going to be another base hit right there by the big train here in the top of the second inning. And kind of a tough play to make right there by Riley Norton, the first baseman. But more importantly for the big train, they get their first run of the ball game after the Aces did a really good job in the top of the first, but now they fall behind here 1-0.
A sharp grounder to first. Norton sprawling to try to make the glove catch. It was on the ground, though, so. Oh, with the big train taking an early lead, 1-0.
Well, 3
It
straight
is
hits.
Parker Corbin up to bat. Go ahead.
3 straight hits so far for the big train in this game. Hutchinson's really got to get a big out here to stop the bleeding and limit any more potential damage, with the big train having another runner here in scoring position.
With no outs so far here in the top of the second inning. Still have their one. And he paints it high. That's Connor Hutchison throwing up the 1-0 towards the zone. So now it's 2-0 with no outs. 2 players aboard. Gonzalez in at second in scoring position. Corbin pops it behind. So now it's 2 balls, 1 strike. Skoronski at first, Gonzalez at second, Corbin engaged. Here comes the 2-1. Strike 2 evens up the count. Nice pitch in the middle.
Well, that's a good pitch right there. Again, falling down 3-1 usually doesn't bode well for pitchers, so that's a good at 2-2.
Big train lead at 1-0. Pawnette scored. And it is ball 3 to the outside in high corner.
Well, now the count's going to go full, and a walk here would load the bases with no outs here for the big train.
Nobody at third, 2 players aboard at second and first, Gonzalez and Skoronski. 3-2 pitch, lines into the outfield, drops down for a base hit. Here comes Gonzalez, who rounds and touches home plate. as Skoronski moves up to third, an RBI double for Corbin.
Well, that's exactly what we talked about in that last inning. This Aces team can score in bunches, and that's exactly what we've seen so far here today. That's 4 straight hits by the big train here in this inning, and with nobody really up and warming in the Aces bullpen already.
Yeah.
I mean, this one has a chance. It's already 2-0 here. There's still nobody out, and now you have runners at second and third. Again, 0 outs.
Yeah, and Anthony Nazzo having a quick word. From Seattle, did coach for the Aces 7 years ago. Makes his return to the staff here for the Aces. Had a quick word, and now everyone will disperse. And here's Brett Ott as we round out the order for the first time today.
Yeah, Ott and Hawk, the last 2 guys so far for the Aces. That goes to show you how every inning can literally be different. You go 1, 2, 3 the first time up, and here you are in the second inning in a lot of trouble with 4 straight hits given up.
Skoronski at third has 3 stolen bases. There's a wild pitch he could steal home. What a big time swing and miss for Brett Ott. Ott himself 14 at-bats so far. This is his 15th. 4 strikeouts and 5 walks. But has 3 hits so far on the season. 0-2 pitch. Strike. 1 for Hutchison. Is his first strikeout of the game.
Well, that's a good job by Hutchison getting the first out. Again,
Catcher, Jacob Hawk.
first out's always important.
Well, with 2 players in scoring position, it is Parker Corbin who got on base. RBI double to Score Gonzalez. And Skoronski had himself a single, moved up to third on the RBI single from Corbin. First offering to Hawk, strike number 1.
Well, I would say if the Aces could get out of this jam, only giving up 2 runs, that would definitely be a success. But again, there's still a little bit of a ways to go to determine that.
The 0-1 pitch tries to paint that low and outside corner. This time it was a little bit wide. So it is 1 ball, 1 strike. Corbin at second and Skoronski at third, with a big train possessing a 2-0 lead here on the road. 2 balls, 1 strike. This one inside and low.
Well, with Jacob Hawk being the 9-hole hitter, you can't really walk the 9-hole and turn the lineup order over with the bases loaded.
3-0 is popped up right near the bullpen, trying to make his way over there. This is the right fielder for the Aces, and John Culligan, who also plays with Hutchison at Ball State. With that foul ball towards the bullpen of the big train, 3-2 pitch. It's a free pass to load the bases for the big train.
Well, now the bases are loaded here. The big train are going to turn the lineup order. And this is where you could see a lot of damage done here potentially for the big train in the top of the second.
But think of it this way. On the flip side, you got the bases loaded. You look over at the bullpen for the Aces. There's not a lick of movement over there.
No, this is going to be this is Hutchison's inning right here for him to finish.
He's just going to foul that one into the dirt. And it's Alex Peltier who grounded to Norton's way. It was a 3-1 ground out, as it was Hutchison who made the tag to the bag. After the foul ball with 1 out, big train possessing a 2-0 lead. A big swing and a miss for Alex Peltier.
Well, that's good stuff right there by Hutchinson. Now he's heading the count 0-2, and a strikeout would be really big because that now limits any potential chances for any sacrifice hits.
A big swing and a miss for Peltier. The 0-2 with 1 out. Just wide. It is now 1-2.
Well, that's a
One
really
ball,
good eye,
two
right?
strikes.
That's a really good eye by Peltier to lay off of that one there.
One, two. And that will spring up a third run. That was Skowronski who moved up to home. And it's Corbin at third and Hawk to second.
Well, that was a really weird play right there. I don't know exactly who that went off of, and the umpires are going to have a chat here to figure out what happened.
So what do you think of Connor Hutchison's play so far?
Well, he had a really strong first inning. Again, did go up some contact, but again, sat him down 1, 2, 3. But here in the second inning, we've kind of seen a whole different pitch here, allowing those 4 straight hits. He did a good job getting the strikeout, but then walked him here. And we'll see what the umpires just ruled.
He's out.
Looks like they'll give him a run, which will spring up Brennan Wright. Peltier will move up to first.
Shortstop, Brendan Wright.
So it was a pass ball that sprang a man to first and bring up runner to home in Skowronski. That's fouled away for Brennan Wright. After the foul ball, Brennan Wright with 2 outs. Up high, ball number 1.
So with 2 outs here, even though there's 2 runners at second and third, chance for the Aces here to get out of the inning.
Brennan Wright, the shortstop, chops it to second. Huber is going to make the catch for the out.
The big train.
It is 3 runs for the big train on 4 hits. What a series of events as the Aces find themselves in the hole yet again at home.
Train 3 and the Aces, nothing.
Yeah, well, all things considered, giving up that amount of hits, honestly, that inning could have really gone a lot worse. The Aces still in a spot here to potentially come back in this game. But again, we got to see more offense here for the Aces. They did a good job getting on base in the first inning, but we're not really able to advance anything past first base. So see if Hankerson, Pena, and Powell can do something here in the bottom of the second.
Hankerson through this game. We'll look to see what he's got, but he made a nice line out to retire 1 in the first, and that was Peyton Steele to end that one. And Hankerson, we talk about it with the hits. He had the first hit of the season for the Aces.
He did, yeah, all the way back on opening day, which seems like a really long time ago, which really was just last week if you think about it. Just 7 days ago was opening night here. Season now kind of well underway, in full swing here. Standings kind of starting to separate from each other a little bit.
At what aspect would you say the Aces are hitting their stride in? Hitting, pitching,
Well, I've been really
small ball, long ball?
I've been really impressed with kind of their ability to manufacture runs, especially when they need to in the late game situations. In these extra inning games, the Aces have found ways to get runs late in the game, which is something I've been really impressed of. Their pitching's been solid at times and shaky at other times, but that's all part of it. You're trying to figure out what pitchers to pitch in what situations. And it's still really early here in the season, but I've been impressed with the Aces' ability in close late-game situations to not put themselves out of it yet.
Right. So here comes Hankerson. It's up to bat in the middle of the order. Pena
Leading off
on
in the
deck.
top of the second for the Aces, the center fielder, E.J. Hankerson.
First offering pushes across the strike is Billis.
Feel free to read a couple of those ads with that also.
1-0. Just fouled it away.
Good job there by Hankerson staying alive. Hankerson also having a good start to his season. He's 3 for 10 so far.
26.
0-2 after the foul ball. Punch out. Hankerson is retired on 3-pitch strikeout.
Catcher, number 28, Diego Pena.
Yeah, well, that's a tough at bat right there for Hankerson. Saw strike one, was able to foul it off. But again, second strikeout of the day so far for Drew Billis. That one looking.
And a foul ball for Pena to the backstop. Diego Pena, a lot of action at catcher on the season for the Aces. Strike two, a little bit low and away. Aces looking for the second hit of the game, and it came early in the bottom of the first. Another strikeout, this one swinging for Pena.
Well, that's exactly what you don't want to see if you're the Aces so far in this inning. Put lots of balls in play and runners on base back in the Aces' top of their half of their inning. But now that's 3 straight strikeouts so far dropped by Drew Billis, as now the inning will be up to Michael Powell here, the third baseman.
The Southpaw really making a name for himself in this game with 3 strikeouts. And he paints across another strike, this time to Powell in his first at-bat of the day. 0-1. Swing and a miss. He just tried to chase that fastball to the low and away corner.
Well, Bellis is really getting the strikeout pitches here, both swinging and looking. And with an 0-2 pitch, I expect him to go back to that fastball again.
0-2, and it's the 4th strikeout and the 4th straight
3 up, 3 down,
for
nothing
Bellis
at the end of
to strike out the side. Impressive showing
3, and the Aces
for the left-hander.
Well, that was just a tremendous inning right there by Billis. And you can kind of understand why he's pitching where he's pitching.
One Life Fitness is a proud sponsor of the Aces. Most days before the games, you can find the Aces working out in one of the fitness locations. Most likely the one near Eisenhower Avenue. The Aces thank One Life for that continued partnership. One Life Fitness, an Alexandria
Can we turn up our
Aces
volume?
sponsor.
Yep.
So yeah, top of the third here in Alexandria. The Aces trailing the Big Train 3-0. And 4 hits in that last inning for the Big Train, really a key factor.
Yeah, so far they've done a really good job. That is the Big Train. And this is important for the Aces here to really be able to keep this run kind of where it's at right now.
So the right fielder, Peyton Steele, will lead things off. The line to Hankerson's glove in the outfield.
Well,
As
Peyton Steele, he plays his spring ball at the University of Alabama, so you know exactly what type of player that this guy is right here playing SEC baseball.
Couple of early pitches, and the pitcher is behind on the count 2-0. It's Steele, and it's Ponnet on deck, and in the hole is Gonzalez. This one into the outfield, a fly ball towards the track. Hankerson's on it to make the catch in the out, number 1, to spring up Ponnet.
Well, Steele's hit 2 really good fly balls, but both of them have been ending up in the glove of E.J. Hankerson so far today. And this is what I find really interesting. The Big Train's top 3 hitters are all combined to 0 for 6 today. So it's really been the middle and bottom half of the lineup doing all the damage for the Big Train. Hitters 1, 2, and 3 for the Big Train. Again, 0 for 6.
So 1 out and a 3-0 lead for the Big Train, and ball 1 to the outside corner. And it's towards the way of Ponnet, batting right. 1-0. It's popped up and fouled away.
Well, when Hutchinson's been able to get the first out, he's been really good. But we saw last inning, he didn't get his first out until the 5th batter that he faced. So again, retiring the first hitter should be signs of a potentially clean inning.
Strike 2 against Ponnet. He's got 9 hits on the season, and against the Braves on the 8th of June, 5 RBIs and a home run. Towering pop up, and it goes foul. Oh, 2, 1 out. Fly ball this time towards the outfield, and Hankerson's going to glove that. Another fly ball towards center field.
But with all the power that the Bethesda Big Train have in their lineup, you know they're going to be hitting the ball in the air. But this park is doing a good job about holding those fly balls, as it's now back-to-back fly ball outs right there. And quickly, 2 away here, and the chance for the Aces to get out of this 3rd inning.
Getting out of this inning will have to go through the willful hand of Gonzalez. Had himself a single in the last inning, as he's got a good eye here. He looks in ball 1. Scored on an RBI double from a Corbin. A big-time swing and miss his way.
Well, that's 2 really powerful fastballs that he's thrown there so far. Counts even at 1-1, but if he can throw that fastball for a strike, that'd be really big.
In the air to right, well hit. And it's the right fielder, Colligan, who makes the catch.
3 up, 3 down,
A quick put out, retiring the side. Hutchison staggers back as the Aces look to get a run. They're down by 3 in the middle of the 3rd.
And hot dogs ready and hot right now.
Yeah, as you saw, they're big hits from the Big Train. Nothing dropping.
Yeah, nothing's dropped there for the Big Train in that inning. But again, this is the perfect explanation of the ups and downs of a baseball game, right? I mean, you go 1, 2, 3 in the 1st inning, and then you give up 3 runs in the bottom of the second, or excuse me, in the top of the 2nd, giving up 4 hits, and then you come back out after a rough 2nd inning in the top of the 3rd and retire the side 1, 2, 3. So again, I expect Hutchinson, with nobody up and throwing in the Aces bullpen, to get another inning, and as he should, because aside from 1 bad inning, he's had 2 1, 2, 3 innings against this really good Big Train lineup.
A good Big Train lineup that did not have a player reach first base, so nobody left on. As Bellis is still up on the mound through 2 innings.
And again, another big thing that's gone unnoticed, I think, by us so far is Hutchinson's now retired 5 straight hitters, and those 5 hitters were hitters 1 through 5. So this second time through the order, the Big Train have not had a base runner. They've gone strikeout, line out, and then 3 straight flyouts, which is usually not something you see. Usually the second time through the order, again, the hitters have seen a lot out of you, and they start getting more contact on the ball, but it's actually been the opposite so far here today.
But another thing to keep in mind as Cooper Hums comes up for this first at-bat of the day, gotta wonder, 4 consecutive strikeouts for Drew Bellis. How do you shake him?
Well, yeah, the big thing here for Billis is to start getting some contact, right? I mean, if you strike out 4 straight times, that means, frankly, you're not putting the ball in play. You put the ball in play, good things happen, like they did back in that first inning.
High foul ball towards the dugout of the Aces.
Well, Cooper Hums is a guy that I've been really impressed with so far this season. He's a very consistent player, hitting .266 this season.
After the foul ball, the 1-0 from Bellis. Low and away. As we're deep in the bottom of the order, this is the bottom of the 3rd inning. This one stays foul. It was hugging the third base line.
Well, here's the strikeout count that the Aces, frankly, have been dreading here, potentially. Again, you got to be alert and get ready for the off-speed because a lot of Billis' strikeouts have come via the off-speed here. And in a lefty-lefty matchup, you got to be careful.
1-2. Swinging strikeout to retire Hums. John Culligan due up.
Well, that's now 5 straight strikeouts so far by Drew Billis. And again, his strikeout pitch is that off-speed, and especially to me what looks like a curveball there for the strikeout there. We've seen that on a couple of his strikeouts so far.
John Colligan looked sharp in the outfield, making a couple of great plays. This one is a base hit right near the first baseman, Gonzalez, and he'll go up to second. What a great play on a 1-out single.
Double.
1-out double.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really interesting hit. He rolled that ball just directly past first base, and with the first baseman shaded a little bit more towards second base, he was unable to make that play there. And again, that's a big 1-out hit right there for Colligan as the lineup will now turn over. Here's Toby Huber.
Second hit of the day, and Toby Huber had the first one all the way back in the bottom of the first. Foul tip strike.
Billis with another first pitch strike here in this game today.
Another big chase from Toby Huber. He's just going to step away from the box.
Well, here's the strikeout count again. You got to wonder if he'll go back to the curveball because that pitch has really been working for him today.
John Colligan in scoring position. Had a sharp grounder right near the right field line. And this one fouled away. After the foul ball, they'll redo the 0-2 pitch with 1 out and 1 man on base. Big Train possessing a 3-0 lead. That screamed towards the inside portion of the zone.
What's a good job by Huber staying alive there, taking what the pitcher gives him. But with 2 strikes here, you got to be alert and ready for that curveball.
One-two pitch. Just a low, just a little bit low.
Well, he did go back to that curveball there, and that curveball was just a bit outside, but definitely could have potentially been called strike 3. A good eye by Huber again to even up the count.
2 straight balls from Billis. 1 out so far in this one. The 5th strikeout for Billis to retire Hums. The 2-2 outside.
I mean, you have better from than I do, but like from you to you. From the data I have. Well, umpire at Silver Spring was giving a lot of outside calls. So you would call a lot of like intended battle clocks and relay off strikes.
Painted off is Billis. And Huber is aboard.
Well, that's a really good at-bat right there by Huber because he was down 0-2 in that count there. And to be able to draw a walk after a guy who's recorded 5 straight strikeouts prior, really great at-bat by Huber.
Shortstop,
The Chaffee College standout and infielder Derek Almeida up to bat. Walked to first after the hit by Huber in the bottom of the first. And a fielder's choice out to retire him. And that was his last appearance at the plate. First offering in the 3rd. A strike.
Well, I can't remember the last time where Billis didn't get a first pitch strike. I mean, it seems like every single time Billis is starting ahead in the count 0-1. I mean, which is really big. That's what all the good pitchers are able to do. And Billis is having a great game so far here tonight.
Keeping the Aces scoreless as well. The 0-1 just a bit wide and inside. One pitch. Up high. Almeida. Very keen, has a great eye. Two-one pitch. Foul tip strike.
Well, that's some serious heat coming in off the arm of Billis. Counts 2-2.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Make that 2, and Almeida's retired on a swinging strikeout. And this is the 6th strikeout of the day for Billis.
Yeah, I was just about to say strikeout number 6.
designated hitter, Gavin Miller.
And something I find really interesting is we've had a caught stealing and then a fielder's choice. And then aside from that, all other outs have come via the strikeout, which is really big from limiting any potential base runners.
Gavin Miller was left on base in the first after Almeida was put out at second. So it was his second appearance in the contest. The Aces are still down 3-0 with 2 players aboard. Huber at first, and it's Culligan at third on a double. Or second, that is. Miller tried to chase it, and they say he did not come across. Nope.
They are going to say he did. Wow.
On appeal at first, they will say 0-2.
Wow, that's a big momentum shift right there from the count potentially being even at 1-1. Now you're down 0-2 with the guy who struck out 6 through 2 2/3 of an inning.
Oh, 0-2 pitch with 2 outs. And they retired Gavin Miller on a swinging strikeout. 7th
No runs,
of the
1
day
hit, 2
for
men
Billis,
left
the
on base.
left-hander.
After 3 full innings of play, the Big Train 3 and the Aces nothing.
All 3 strikeouts in the last 2 innings for this Big Train came on strikeouts. And it's something to note. The Aces still looking to bring a player across.
All right, these are apparently $500. Used on eBay. A little more than I was
T.J. Fannin and Son has been serving Alexandria for 140 years. Hot water heaters, air conditioning, or gas heat. There is only one place.
Top of the 4th for the Aces in the Big Train. Skoronski due up and Corbin on deck. And Drew, Connor Hutchinson's still up there.
Well, yeah, Connor Hutchinson, like I said, through his 3 innings pitched so far, 2 out of his 3 innings pitched have been 1, 2, 3 innings. So take out his 1 outlier inning. He's actually done a really good job, especially against the the top third of the Big Train order with the first 3 hitters of the Big Train going 0 for 6. So he's really done a good job except for starting out that 2nd inning. I think it's right to set him out there for another one.
Trying to build himself some confidence in the 2nd game played for the Aces.
Yeah, Hutchinson, he had a little bit of a rough start out there in out in Waldorf last week, giving up 5 runs in just 3 innings. Back out here again to face one of the toughest teams in the league, but so far he's actually done a pretty decent job again. Struggled in that 2nd inning, but aside from that, I've been impressed with his ability to navigate this lineup so far.
Yeah. Starting it off with the junior outfielder, Josh Skoronski. Coming into today, a .235 batting average. Going along with facing 5 strikeouts, and ball 1 offered from Hutchison is low. The 1-0. Strike 1 to the outside half.
Well, this is the part of the lineup where the Big Train did a lot of damage so far. Skoronski had that RBI single last time up.
This one fouled behind the batter. The Big Train lead it 3-0 off of 4 hits. The Aces had their 2nd in the bottom of the 3rd. Off from Culligan, the double. Skoronski, the leadoff batter, trying to get on base. This is a towering pop-up to short. It's Powell and Almeida on it, but Almeida makes the catch.
Well, that's 6 straight batters retired so far by Hutchinson. He's done a really good job settling down here. As Parker Corbin, he had that double last time up, that kind of shot into right center field. That was probably the best hit of the day so far for the Big Train.
Yep. Which plated Emilio Gonzalez from 2nd. And the only strikeout for Hutchinson so far in this contest was against Brett Ott. He is on deck. This one is a high fly ball that's foul.
Yeah, and it looks like that weird play that scored the Big Train's 3rd run. They actually did call that a strikeout and then a pass ball on the catcher. So Hutchinson's got 2 strikeouts here today.
The 1-1 low. Pena making a good effort to get in front of it. 2 balls, 1 strike. Parker Corbin, the infielder, playing 2nd base today. He looks at ball 3. The 3-1 pitch. Strike number 2 to bring back the batter.
And Parker Corbin threw his bat over the first base dugout, assuming that he may have walked there. But that gets called strike 2, and that's something as an umpire you're not really going to like doing, especially with the way he threw his bat on over to his own dugout.
Paid off, Hutchison.
And you got to wonder
Corbin-
now, if there's a pitch kind of a little bit on the outside, you got to wonder if he'll ring him up for doing that. They're not supposed to, but, you know, you got to wonder.
They'll redo the 3-2 after Corbin fouled it behind. 1 out. It was a pop-up to short. And it's a called strikeout at the plate.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I thought was going to happen there, because that was a pitch that was really close to the zone. And after what he did a couple pitches ago, you know the umpire's probably going to ring him up there. Strikeout number 3 of the day for Connor Hutchinson.
Brett Ott.
Well, I can't give Connor Hutchinson enough credit for what he's done to bounce back after giving up those hits earlier in the second inning. Retiring 7 straight guys for the big train.
Two outs, one a putout, and another one a strikeout. As Brett Ott looks at a ball towards the lower half.
But what Parker Corbin did on that last at bat should be a lesson to all hitters out there. You never want to throw your bat unless you're absolutely sure that it's ball 4.
And a foul ball to boot for Ott. This one in the air, and it bloops, and it stays fair in front of the left fielder. And here goes Ott with a double, 2 out double for him.
Yeah, well, that was kind of always going to be a tough play out there by Cooper Hums to be able to catch that ball. A 2-out double there in the first hit since all the way back in the second inning. Parker Corbin's double.
Now batting the catcher, Jacob Hawk.
But with 2 outs here in the 9-hole hitter, no reason that the Aces shouldn't be able to get out of this inning with no damage done.
Jacob Houck, the catcher, plays ball for the University of Maryland College Park. Has a coach from the University of Delaware scouting him today. Strike 1 his way.
Probably in the transfer portal, though. You know, one thing I wish that the website was able to do was tell you, you know, it's nice to know where they played in the spring, but it'd be also really nice to know, are they in the portal or are they actually going to go back to their school? Because I think that'd be really interesting to talk about, like Longoria for the Aces. He's currently in the transfer portal right now. But again, he's had such a great season. That even draws a little more excitement to his name because you know he's going to be going to a new school in the fall.
(0-2) chopped foul. And one thing to keep a note about Longoria, 7 innings, has not allowed a hit.
Yeah, absolutely outstanding, too. And how many
Pitcher
strikeouts?
of the week as well in the Ripken League.
I did see that. For his outing back on opening day, an outing we were really impressed with. And then he came back out against Silver Spring and had 2 shutdown innings as well with 4 strikeouts. So I believe that's 15 strikeouts in 7 innings so far for Longoria this season.
That one got away from Hutchison for a moment. Pena had to make a play to keep the player at home. So it's 1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 outs. And a double that sprang Ott to second. A blooper towards the left field side. 2 balls, 2 strikes on a ball that was low. Even count, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Player aboard at second. This one's a sharp one away from Almeida. Will spring the 4th run of the day. That is Brett Ott. 4-0 on an RBI single.
Well, the big train's starting to get some more offense together, as that was just a ground ball right up the middle and no chance for Hankerson to throw out the speedy Brett Ott at home. So that's going to be a 2-out RBI single there for Jacob Hawk, as now the lineup will turn over again for the big train. However, as we mentioned earlier, the top of this order has not really done anything for the big train so far.
2 straight singles after 2 outs. Trying to show bunt. Peltier, that is.
Yeah, Peltier 0
He did
for
not go
2.
around.
Peltier 0 for 2 today. Ground out and a strikeout.
One-0 pitch. And a player moves up to second on a pass ball.
Yeah, well, that one just got away from the catcher there. Hawks now going to head on over to second. And that's kind of a big mistake right there by the Aces, because now you've got another runner in scoring position, and now a potential single could make this a 5-0 lead here.
Nazo makes his second mound visit of the ball game. You just wonder what might be the issue. What is going through the minds of the catcher and the pitcher so far?
Well, yeah, it seems like after getting those first 2 early outs, there's been a lot of contact surrendered by Hutchinson so far, and kind of had a hard time finding the strike zone as well. But again, you have 2 outs here, so you're not out of the inning just yet, but you're in a really good spot to potentially get out of it. And again, against a portion of the order that really hasn't been able to get much success so far today.
2-0 pitch, just in front of the glove of Powell, and a hit to boot, a infield single.
Yeah, well, that ball was hit really hard, which is why they're going to score him a hit there. That's now 3 straight hits given up there by Hutchinson, when he really did a good job settling down, but now again he's kind of giving up more of that contact again. As it looks like the big train might be in business here again.
Brennan Wright.
Brennan Wright up for 2 today with a line out and a ground out.
Ball 1 for Brennan Wright, and it was a couple of plays ago the 4th run was scored. That was Brett Ott from second on Hawks' RBI single. So Hawks at third and Peltier is at first.
Well,
The
that
Aces
looks-
still are in it, still on defense with 2 outs.
Well, that looked like the pitch right there. Going to potentially be called a strike. Instead, the count will now go to 2-0.
Foul ball behind. .40 lead for the big train with 1 player at third and Hauk. That is, yeah, Hauk. Ball 3 to the outside. Now the 3-1 with 2 outs. Ball number 4 to bring a man at first.
Yeah, well, that's now 4 straight runners that have reached base here. As here comes Peyton Steele, who's up for 2 today.
Peyton Steele.
Peyton Steele lined out to center field, and we talked about it. Both those times right to the glove of Hankerson.
Got a mound visit here.
Yeah, with Cole Gebbin warming up the Western Michigan player, Vicksburg native.
Yeah, a little bit of
Vicksburg,
action.
Michigan.
A little bit of action going down the Aces bullpen, and that's probably about right. Hutchinson, most pitchers in this league usually get, 4 to 5 innings out of their starts. We're in inning number 4 here. I wouldn't be surprised if in the next inning they go to him.
Keep this in mind. Connor Hutchison plays for Ball State, and you got a catcher from Ball State as well.
Yeah.
We think about it this way, right? 2 teams or players that come from different teams. There's got to be chemistry going, and you got to work on that throughout the summer ball season.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, these are guys where they just met each other a little over a week ago, so it's still a lot to learn for these guys especially. And with guys who are teammates, they have so much familiarity with each other, and that's what makes summer ball so interesting, because you're only with these guys for a couple of months, and you're really just kind of getting to know the types of pitches and everything like that. But at the same time, these guys are all high-level ball players, and their ability to adapt is going to be important as they progress through their career.
So that's the day. The day's over for Connor Hutchison through 3 2/3 innings pitched for him. He's given up 7 hits. Then again, 2 strikeouts to his name. So there's a bit of both worlds when it comes to all that.
Now pitching for the Aces from Western Michigan University, number 6, Cole Gibbons.
Cole Gibbon coming into this game, 4 1/3 innings pitched, has 3 strikeouts. Has allowed 2 walks and 2 hits so far in this season. As we talked about it, 4-0 lead for the big train, but still a lot of baseball to be played.
Oh, a bunch of baseball left to be played. I mean, we just started the middle innings here. But again, with runners at the corners here, or excuse me, with the bases loaded, I mean, one swing of the bat could potentially put this one a little bit out of reach. But the game's still in reach as it stands right now. But you got to get a big out here.
After the walk, Brennan Wright is at first. A single to third for Peltier has him at second, and an RBI single, which brought in a base runner in Ott. And that's Jacob Hauk at third. Bases are loaded for the big train, looking for more points. A 4-run lead. As everybody takes their position. In the infield, Peyton Steele just about a couple of feet away from the batter's box. And we are on with 2 outs. And all 3 base runners. And a hit by pitch to bring in another run. 5-0 for the big train.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what you did not want to have happen right there if you were Gedman, because now you're in the same situation, except you gave up an additional run. As this will be the cleanup hitter coming up here for the big train.
2 runs to go with 2 or 3 hits in this inning.
Third baseman, Logan Ponnett.
But no errors for the Aces.
No.
Clean baseball so far.
Yeah, no errors so far for them. But at the same time, lots of hits, lots of runs.
And ball 1, Pena just had to get a good clean handle on it. One-oh pitch. Nobody moves up. It is ball 2.
Well, yeah, that's good awareness right there by Peltier over there at third to not come on, because he probably would have been tagged out.
The 2-0 with 2 out. Strike 1 down low. Two-one pitch, and it is inside.
Well, now with 3 balls here again, you can't walk in another run after what you did with the hit by pitch. So a big pitch coming here.
The last 2 batters, a walk for Wright and a hit by pitch for Steele. This one fouled towards the dugout of the Aces.
Well, now with a 3-2 count and 2 outs, all the runners are going to get a head start. So the worst thing you could do is potentially give up a hit, because that means pretty much you're going to play it in 2, maybe even 3 runs, depending on where the ball's hit.
Panetta is engaged. Payoff pitch from Gevin on the way. Foul ball towards the right side.
It's a good job. Excuse me. Good job by Ponnet there, staying alive.
And all three base runners looking to move up.
Yeah, full count, 2 outs, pretty much an automatic, head start for those guys out there.
Mm-hmm. Redo the payoff pitch. And a walk to bring in another run, 6-0. For the Big Train, their third run of the inning.
Well, the Big Train are kind of starting to separate away here. But the last 3 at-bats have been walk, hit by pitch, and walk. So it's not like they're even having to put the ball in play and beat the Aces that way. It's been really the Aces kind of getting in their own way here, giving up walks and hitting batters.
Big Train batted around the order. Emilio Gonzalez looks at ball 1 outside and low. And Gonzalez had himself a single, scored on an RBI double from Corbin back in the second inning. Check swing foul behind. One ball and a foul ball. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Has been 2 outs so far. And this one right in front of Colligan, a base hit. Springs in 2 runners. 2 RBI single for Gonzalez. With Skoronski up to bat.
Yeah, well, Ponet's going to advance to third there as now the now the Big Train have batted around here in the top of the 4th.
It was Skoronski who started things off. A pop out to Almeida's glove in the infield. And on deck is Corbin, one of 2 batters to be struck out against Hutchison, whose day is over. One-0 pitch to Skoronski, and it's ball 2 towards the low and away corner. (2-0), and it's a liner that just drops in front of the right fielder Colligan again. And another run scores. This time it's Panett as well as Steele.
Well, that's going to be another good hit right there. Out into right field.
Second baseman Parker Corbin.
What was that, a 2-run double there?
Yep.
Yeah, now you can kind of feel this one getting a little bit out of reach here. 6th run. Excuse me, a 6-run 4th inning here for the Train.
This time it's Corbin. Last appearance up at home plate. Struck out looking. Representing the second out of this inning. One ball, 1 strike. One pitch. Swinging and missing, 1-2 count now. Gonzalez at third and Skoronski at second. Both have themselves 2 RBIs in this inning. And a chopper towards second baseman Huber. And a clean out to end the bleeding for the Aces. 6 runs given up in the top of the 4th inning.
On 5 hits, 2 men left on base.
A lot of high run games for the Big Train. A big time win against the Grays. I believe it was 21-8. What must be going through the minds of the Aces so far in this game?
Well, nothing good right now, I'll tell you that much. Being down 9-0 here in the bottom of the 4th, you thought you had a little bit of a chance to potentially come back here after getting a 1-2-3 inning in the 3rd. But in the 4th, the Aces the Big Train completely bat around. As now the score is now 9-0. And with Drew Billis having the outing that he's had, it's going to be really tough for the Aces to get some runs off of him in this game.
Yeah. Man, Drew Billis has himself 7 strikeouts. And in the stretch, 4 straight to retire Hankerson, Pena, Powell, and Hums to start off the 3rd for Hums and throughout the 2nd inning with Hankerson, Pena, and Powell. And in between all that, a hit for Colligan, a double, and a walk for Huber, which stranded them the last inning. So now it's going to be Riley Norton who's due up and Hankerson on deck.
Yeah, this is now the perfect time for you to start stringing some hits together. Only 2 hits in this game so far today. It was the leadoff hit by Huber back in the 1st, and then it was Colligan's double down the line last inning in the 3rd. But I've been really impressed with Bellis' start so far today. I mean, he's got the strikeouts coming along, and when you're not allowing contact and outs, his last 7 outs have come from the strikeout, and his 1 other out came from a fielder's choice, the other from a caught stealing. So really, all of his outs have essentially come via the strikeout, and that's the sign that you've got the strikeout stuff going and dominating the opposing team's lineup.
So here is Riley Norton. Struck out in his last appearance and was the first strikeout for Billis' day. Big Train lead it 9-0. First offering, he pushes across the strike. He pops it up foul as Riley Norton. No balls, 2 strikes. The leadoff man trying to get on base to help out the Aces. They're down about 9 runs. This time he chases it. It's a strikeout to retire Norton, and Hankerson's due up.
Well, that's the 8th strikeout of the day so far by Bellis. 2nd of the day for Riley Norton.
Both of them swinging, yeah.
And I expect more strikeouts to come here because he's been pretty much striking out everybody in this game.
First offering to Hankerson up the middle. And that one squirts into the outfield. He's got himself a 1-out single.
Well, that's another good piece of hitting right there by A.J. Hankerson. Grounds one right up the middle and in for a base hit. It's a good 1-out hit as here comes Diego Pena, the Aces catcher.
Diego Pena also struck out. That was back in the 2nd. We were mentioning it at the top of the inning. Or top of the bottom of the inning. Looking to string a couple more hits in this inning. Pena looks at strike 1 towards the lower half. Oh, 1 tries to climb the ladder. Pena looked at 1 strike, swung at another strike. So now it's 0-2, the 0-2 pitch. We'll repeat the 0-2 count as that one was fouled into the fence behind. 0-2 pitch with 1 out. Swinging strikeouts to retire Pena.
Well, that's the 9th strikeout of the day so far by Drew Billis. And again, all of his outs except for those first 2 have come via the strikeout. I mean, the Aces haven't even put a ball in play, aside from that base hit, in what seems like a really, really long time.
So now it's Michael Powell's turn. Here in the bottom of the 4th. He represents the 4th strikeout in his last appearance up on the plate. And something you don't see too often from Billis in this game, a first offering and a ball.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We haven't seen too many of those. He's done a really good job staying ahead and getting ahead in the counts here.
The 1-0 pitch with 2 outs. Just a bit wide of the zone. Strike 1 towards the outer half.
Yeah, that's a good pitch in there to get a strike.
Hankerson at first on a grounder up the middle. This one is a soft grounder towards Gonzalez, and he doesn't connect with the pitcher. Hankerson moves up to 3rd, and everybody's safe. Oh, Hankerson moves up as well. And the Aces got their first one, and they trail by 8. He moved up very late.
Well, yeah, I mean, there was no one really covering home, and I don't really know what the big train catcher was doing there on that play. It's his job to be able to get any potential runners at home, and he was kind of standing out in front. And that's going to allow the Aces' first run of the game to come across.
Coach Sal Colangelo, very well established in this league, having a quick word with Billis, and I wonder if it's just a procedure out in the infield. Colangelo takes his leave with Trevor Orth, the right-handed pitcher from Lorton, starting to warm up at the bullpen for the big train. So 1 run comes across for the Aces. They're trailed by 8 runs. It is Cooper Hums up to bat. Ball 1 low. And it's an even count on strike 1. One pitch up the middle. Cooper Hums, 1-2 count, 2 outs. A grounder to second, and they will make the tag at Powell to second. So 4-6 to retire Powell, moving up to second to strand a man. But great base running for E.J. Hankerson to get themselves aboard.
Yeah, that was really good heads-up base running there by Hankerson to come across and score very late on that play. It didn't seem like the big train were really covering home, which is kind of why that happened.
And would you say that there should be more base running going forward, helping this team out and try to cut the lead a little bit here?
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that, but at the same time, the Aces really haven't been the best stolen base team in the league so far this season. There's been a lot of caught stealings, and today the Aces haven't been able to get a stolen base. Huber got caught stealing the first. So I don't necessarily know if you want to be that aggressive early on because you've only got so many outs remaining.
So through 4, 9-1 lead for the Big Train off of 9 hits. Ace have 4. And another thing to keep in mind, both teams are tied in left on base. They stranded 4 players each. And it is this Jovin Gil.
Grand Valley State.
Yeah. He's warming up on the mound. He has been dying to play a lot of pitcher, and he's got it. He's a utility guy for the Aces.
State University, number 19, Jovin Gil.
Definitely all the pitchers that we've seen, he's probably the biggest.
Oh, yeah. Well, Jovin Gil, this is his first appearance as a pitcher so far. We saw him play a little bit of first base earlier in the week.
Oh, yeah.
But his first pitching appearance comes here in the top of the 5th against the Big Train. It's going to be 7-8-9 for the Big Train here in the top of the 5th.
7-8-9. It is Brett Ott. Had himself a double in his last at-bat.
Oh, other. I didn't know there was just an other category when it came to baseball.
And he was plated across on a RBI single from Jacob Hauk. So let's see what Jovin Gil does. And keep in mind, we're looking at it right here from this position. That arm slot is kind of a little bit low.
Yeah, we'll take another look at it here, and we'll obviously get a better sense of it through his appearance. But yeah, it looks like he's throwing from a little bit of that half slot that can sometimes get a lot of swing and misses.
Fifth inning, leading off for the Big Train is the left fielder, Brett Ott.
Brett Ott in the second inning struck out swinging. He's one of 2 players to be struck out against Connor Hutchison. And Jovin Gil throws across ball 1. One-oh pitch on the way with no outs. Foul tip strike. Ott's engaged, and now the 1-1 pitch from Gil. Into shallow left, and it is Hums who makes the out.
Well, the first out's always the most important out to get, especially just building momentum in the inning.
Catcher, Jacob Hauk.
Brett Ott is out. Now it's Jacob Hauk. RBI single in the 4th inning. This is the top of the 5th. As the Big Train preserved their 8-run lead, they are up 9-1. On the road, both teams are 3-3 on the season. Very young one, I might add. The 0-1 from Gil on the way. Strike 1 lower half.
Yes, this guy.
The 0-2 with 1 out from Gil. Here comes the pitch. One ball, 2 strikes to Hauk. And in a hurry, it is an even count, 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 pitches that's gone away from the arm side of Pena. The 2-2 pitch from Gil. And a punch out at home plate. And the first strikeout of the day for Jovin Gil.
Yeah, well, that's a really nice pitch right there by Gil to get him looking. First strikeout of the day for Gil, and he's done a nice job retiring the first 2 batters here in the top of the 5th.
2 outs, 1 a putout, and another one a strikeout. Springs aboard Alex Peltier from Wilmington, North Carolina.
Yeah, Petier 1 for 3 today. Had that base hit last time up back in the 4th.
The pitch from Gil. Low and away. This one inside. Trying to work the breaking ball through. 3-0 count at the plate for Peltier. Strike 1 to bring back Peltier to the plate. And now the 3-1 pitch. And a free pass for the 2-out walk. Peltier's at first.
Yeah, well, now we're going to start getting in the top bit of this big train order. A leadoff walk for the leadoff man. Here's Brendan Wright, the shortstop, who walked his last time up.
And then scored on the 2 RBI single from Emilio Gonzalez. But Jovin Gil with one player taken off, strike at the plate. The throw is not in time. Almeida trying to tag the bag before the runner gets there.
Well, that was an easy stolen base. I mean, that was a super speedy runner in Peltier. No chance to get him, and now he's aboard at second.
Peltier with his 6th stolen base, 5 coming into this ball game. The 1-0 pitch, strike number 2, a called one, I might add. And we're looking at Jovin Gil, very sharp on the mound.
Yeah, he's done a really nice job so far today, and that's a good breath of fresh air for this Aces pitching staff to kind of see this out of Gil.
1 man on, 2 out, no 2 count, and the pitch from Gil, fouled behind. They'll redo the 0-2 pitch, couple of called strikes on Brennan Wright. Lined to the second baseman, and then a ground out in the first. Gil, the 0-2 on the way, towering pop-up. That just goes foul. Peltier at second on a stolen base and a walk. 2 outs and the pitch. Another foul ball.
Well, now 2 strikes and 2 outs here. Gil, a good chance to potentially get out of this inning here.
One more redo for Gil and Wright. With 1 player at second. And a big time swing and miss to strike out the side. Gil looked sharp as we move to the middle portion of the 5th inning.
No hits, 1 man left on base.
But after a 6-run
Big train, 9.
inning for the big train, they have no runs, then left a man on base. That's something that speaks volumes to the Aces. What are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, so far that was a really good inning right there by Gil. But again, when you're down 8, you really need the offense to get going. Only 1 run against any team in this league is really not going to cut it. So you can't really be too upset by what your pitching staff has done. Because at the same time, even if they only gave up a couple runs, you'd still probably be down in this game. Which is why the Aces offense really needs to get it going here as we close out the middle innings.
So Jovin Gil had 2 strikeouts. Both of them were book-ended by a 2-out walk from Peltier. As we move to the bottom of the 5th, and still up on the mound, Drew Billis. And he still is working with his 9 strikeouts so far in this game.
Well, yeah, now there's no reason to check out Billis here. He's had a really good start so far, especially in the 5th inning. Might be it for him, as we're starting to see a little bit of action down there in Bethesda's bullpen. Likely to be the last inning for Billis, but again, you never know.
Yeah. At the end of that inning, we saw Trevor Orth, the last inning. He was warming up. But a lot of short-handed pitchers. Obviously, Billis, we're looking at him right now. We also got Brendan Cassidy, who played a lot of his spring ball at George Mason. So due up now is John Culligan. So 9-1-2 to start things off for the Aces in the bottom of the 5th. The right fielder had himself a double, but was stranded on base, one of 2 players, and the other one was Huber on the 2-out walk, or the 1-out walk, that is. Drew Billis pumps across the first strike against Culligan. Soft grounder, and it just gets away from Billis. And he is at first safe.
Well, that's going to be a base hit right there for Culligan, right up the middle of the pitcher. And a good leadoff hit right there for the Aces, and that's exactly what you needed. As Lamp will turn over to Toby Huber.
Turning it back over to Toby Huber, sporting his only hit of the day. It came in this first inning. A leadoff single in his own right, but was caught stealing in the middle stages of the bottom of the first. 1 player aboard. And the first offering is a strike towards Huber. Toby Huber, native of Cincinnati, Ohio. Walked in his last appearance at the bat. And this one screeches foul towards the right side. As the 0-2 on the way from Bellis with 1 player aboard. And the out. Or no, that's a strike.
Well, maybe a pitch that could have potentially called strike 2, or excuse me, strike 3. Instead it goes for ball 1, counts 1 and 2.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Big Train with an 8-run lead. They're up 9-1. And an even count. This one just up high and away. Now the 2-2 pitch with nobody out in the bottom of the 5th. Retire 1 to bring up Almeida.
Well, that's the 10th strikeout of the day there for Drew Billis. And 10's really a magical number right there for a starting pitcher. And especially only through 4 1/3 inning. 10 strikeouts, that's a really impressive start and a sign that you're doing something right.
Big time swing and a miss for Almeida in his first offering. John Culligan is at first with his leadoff single up the middle right towards the wheelhouse of Bellis.
Right, well, yeah, yes.
This one goes foul behind and into the backstop. A strike and a foul ball makes it 0-2 the count. And they'll redo it after Almeida fouls this one behind again. He chases after it, and he's retired on strikeout.
Strikeout number 11 of the day so far for Drew Billis, and Almeida knew that was a pitch he probably should have laid off there and not swung out.
11th strikeout of the day. Averaging over 2 strikeouts per inning. Pitching in 4 2/3 innings so far in this game. So it is a 1-0 count for Gavin Miller with his parents in attendance. 2 outs, 1 player on base. The leadoff single for Colligan. The big train preserving the 9-0, 9-1 lead. A strike one way and safe in a stolen base for Colligan.
Well, that's a
Bit of
close
action for him.
Yeah, that was a close play over there at second. A really good throw over there by Jacob Hawk, the big train catcher. But Colligan gets in there at second, and now running in scoring position here for the Aces with 2 out.
And the Aces have themselves a stolen base. That was their type of play last season. Trying to get back into that well. The 1-2 on the way, and it screams into the zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 outs.
Well, now a chance with 2 strikes here for Billis to get out of the inning. Gavin Miller struck out last time up. And we'll see what happens here.
That was always my worry when they don't all, especially the outside.
Potential second run of the day for the Aces is that second, and he's going to move up again. And you got to wonder if the catcher is just fine. He's holding his wrist.
Oops.
It is going to be ball number 2 towards the plate. Colangelo is going to have a quick look at him as he makes his way to the dugout.
Well, yeah, he's shaking his wrist a little bit. Seems that he's going to stay in there, at least for the time being.
Looks like he's going to come back. He's going to grab his helmet as Colligan moves up to third on another stolen base. Having a quick warm-up pitches to get the catcher going. Jacob Hauk. A dirty terp. He's good to go. Gavin Miller takes his position now, batting right. Colligan is at third with 2 outs, 2-2 pitch. This one in front of the left fielder, and it just drops in to spring in the second run of the day. He's safe at second. Gavin Miller with himself with an RBI double to spring up Norton.
Yeah, that's a really good piece of hitting right there by Gavin Miller. Just out of the outreached arms of Brett Ott, the big train left fielder. He made a really good effort to potentially make that play. Goes off his glove. As Colligan will come around to score, that's going to be the Aces' second run of the ball game.
And their 6th hit of the day. It trims it down to a 7-run deficit for the Aces. And a big-time swing and miss for Norton. We're looking at his at-bats, Drew. Riley Norton is looking for his hit. He is just begging to get a hit.
Yeah, he's been struggling so far this season. He's 0 for 2 today with 2 strikeouts. As now he's down in the count quickly 0-2.
Already down in the count. Miller, the potential 3rd run of the day for the Aces. Looking to come across. He won't be. The Norton is retired on a strikeout.
1 run.
12th strikeout of the day, this time looking.
1 man left on base.
And Miller stranded on base.
The big train 9 and the Aces 2.
But still, a positive. A run comes across.
Yeah, that's definitely a positive right there. Gavin Miller's double, surely a positive there. Still lots of work to do for the Aces here. But again, let's highlight Drew Billis for a second. 12 strikeouts. So 12 out of his 15 outs came via the strikeout. Very impressive outing for Drew Billis. If it is over, which I do believe it will be, as we come out for the 6th, but most importantly here for the Aces to keep this a 9-2 ball game and give your offense a chance here.
Jovin Gil on the mound had 2 strikeouts. One or both of them were swinging strikeouts against Brennan Wright, the last batter in the 5th inning, and against Jacob Hauk, the 2nd out. So it is 3-4-5 to start things off. Peyton Steele, Logan Panette, and Emilio Gonzalez.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of the heart of the big train order here. It's going to be 3, 4, and 5. And all these guys have been on base so far today, especially with Pana and Gonzalez both being 2 for 2.
Jovin Gil, the utility player, pitching in relief. Trying to keep the big train from scoring potentially more runs. As here is Peyton Steele, the right fielder.
Leading off with a big train.
Peyton Steele was scored
Peyton Steele.
off of an RBI two RBI single from Emilio Gonzalez. It was him and Panette. He got on a base on a hit by pitch in the 4th inning. To start off the top of the 6th,
Yeah, Steele today 0 for 2. Got hit by a pitch by Gebben the first time up. As Gil out for his 2nd inning work here in the 6th.
fouled into the plate. Near the 0-1 pitch,
Well,
it just came across. It
well,
is
that
called strike
that
one.
one came in super slow and
Yeah.
ended up catching some of the zone.
Gil unwinding the 0-2 pitch. This one in the air to shallow right field. And it looks like he did make the snag.
Well, that's an absolutely...
What a great catch by Colligan. Easily having a great day today for the
That's
Aces.
an absolutely beautiful catch right there by Colligan. I thought that ball had a chance to drop right there.
Yeah.
It didn't look like it did. As here's the first out here in the 6th.
Third baseman, Logan.
Into the shallow portion of the outfield, and he just snagged it to retire one. Steele is out. Panette up to bat. Not a good eye. He just looks at strike one. Here comes the 0-1. And it hits him in the guard. And he is aboard on a hit by pitch.
Yeah, that's going to be a 2nd hit batter today by these Aces pitchers. Here comes Emilio Gonzalez, and he's 2 for 3 today with 2 RBIs as well.
Yeah, the one out on Peyton Steele on a flyout. He was the other one to be hit by a pitch. Jovin Gil in relief of Cole Gibbon. Emilio Gonzalez fouls this one into the dirt.
Well, how big does that catch look now? Instead of having 2 runners on with nobody out, now there's just a run on first with 1 out. That catch will, I bet, prove to become really big as we go through this inning.
Big train. 7-run lead, 9-2. Emilio Gonzalez flies it foul towards the left side. The infielder pops back into the box and engaged. One player aboard. Panette at first on a hit by pitch. 1 out. And now the pitch. This one into Huber, and it just squirts away from the mitt. And Panette at third. And now the man moves up to first, and Gonzalez, he is safe at second.
Yeah, well, that's definitely going to be an error out there on the second baseman. And again, I knew that catch would come big. If it weren't for that catch, the big train would probably have another run by now.
In between the legs and just a couple of inches away from the tip of the glove.
Yeah, now with runners at the corners here with 1 out, any fly ball is probably going to score the runner. But again, a ground ball could potentially get you a double play and get you out of this inning.
Yeah, Gonzalez tags up to second. And at third is Panett. Now to Josh Skowronski. A 2 RBI double in the fourth. And Gil pumps across. Strike one to Skowronski.
For us or for them? Pitcher? 33, Jack.
The 0-1 from Gil with 1 out. Big time swing and miss for Skowronski. Oh, 2. Strikeout.
Third strike of
Boy,
the day
we were talking
so
about
far
it. Yeah.
by Gil.
We had a different pitch earlier that just slowly made his way across the zone.
Yeah, well,
and
look-
this time again to retire another batter.
Yeah, it looked like that was the same pitch there. That just, to me, looks like a super slow dropping curveball that he likes to throw. And when you throw it as rarely as he does, that really messes up the hitter's timing. And that's a really good strikeout pitch right there. 2 out here in the top of the 6th.
2 out, and it's the 3rd strikeout for Gil. And his first offering to the next batter in Parker Corbin is ball 1.
Well, now with the runner here at 2nd and 3rd, really important here to get the 2nd out.
Panett at 3rd and Gonzalez at 2nd with 2 outs, and it's ball 2 towards the lower half. Trying to stretch the zone downward was Gil on the last pitch. Down in this count, 2 balls, 0 strikes. And he's got his first strikeout, or first strike against Parker Corbin. So now it's 2 balls, 1 strike. Looking to keep the potential 10th run of the day for the big train on base. 2-1 pitch with 2 outs. Turns to 3-1.
Well, if you walk a guy here, it doesn't really matter. First base is open here. But at the same time, you'd love to get out of this inning.
Jovin Gil.
And that's
Gives
not,
up ball 4.
that's not the worst thing right there. First base was open. Now you set up a forced play at every base. You much rather just walk him there than potentially throw him a strike and have him hit a base hit and create this even a bigger lead than what it already is.
Yeah, Jovin Gil has the bases loaded. The big train looking to score more runs. Strike 1 to help him out. So it's Jovin Gil on the mound, and some action in the bullpen for the Aces, the left-handed pitcher Nathan Lake.
Yeah, Lake will
A
probably
commit for Shippensburg University.
Lake will
warming up.
probably come on in the 7th. This is probably Gil's inning to finish here, if you ask me.
That pitch was screaming up high towards the glove side of Pena. It is Panett, the 3rd baseman at 3rd. Got on base on a hit by pitch. Milo Gonzalez at 2nd. And at 1st is Parker Corbin on a walk.
It's a good
And
pitch in
strike
there.
2. Strike 2.
Well, now Gil's just 1 strike away from getting out of this inning, and that would be big right there for Gil and not force Lake to come into this inning.
The low and inside corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and now the pitch with 2 outs. Evens up the count once more. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, all the runners for the big train in this game so far, or excuse me, in this inning, have been hit by pitch and error and a walk. So it's not like the big train have gotten a lot of hits. It's mainly been walks and then really errors by this Aces pitching staff and by the defense.
2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs. Full count as the big train look to get their 10th run across. Panett is at third, and the Big Train lead at 7-2 in the early stages of the top of the 6th inning. The full count pitch. Ball 4 to bring in Panett, and the 10th run of the day for the Big Train.
Yeah, well, that's now back-to-back walks surrendered there. You got to wonder if Coach Brissett's going to go to the bullpen now at this point in the game with back-to-back walks given up. And no, it looks like they're going to keep Gil in there for at least one more hitter. It's going to be the 9-hole hitter, Jacob Hawk. He's 1 for 2 today with a single, a walk, and a strikeout.
Mm-hmm. Ball 1, and we talked about that hit single, and it played it through Brett Ott. Ott is at first. Gonzalez is at third. Up the middle this time, a nice grounder to bring in Gonzalez, and one more run, this one from Parker Corbin. A 2 RBI single off of a ground ball. And it is 12-2. Big Train up top, 10-run lead.
Yeah, well, that's a tough break right there for the Aces. A potential get out of this inning. But now, the 3rd run allowed, as now this game has been completely blown open here, 12-2.
With 3 runs in this inning, Jovin Gil still working with 2 outs. Showing bunt was Peltier, who is the 1 hitter, the top of the order hitter. The 1-0 with 2 outs. And Peltier just has to take a quick walk. He's going to move up to first. Well, Peltier, you could argue that he was crowding the plate.
Yeah, he was, but that pitch came way inside on him, and
yeah,
you know, now that's going to load the bases again as here comes Coach Brissett to make a pitching change.
You're already on it. Jovin Gil is done for the day. Looked very sharp. 3 strikeouts. And it's his first mound appearance this season for him.
Who is this?
Wait, no. Oh, that's us, yeah, it's Nate Lake.
He's a commit for Shippenberg. Played ball at Marshall High in Fairfax County.
Now pitching for the Aces, number 33, Nathan Lake.
So he's got a 1-0 record and 4 strikeouts to his name. He's faced 13 batters against the Grays back on Friday, and the opponent batting average was 200. So
yeah, well, Nate Lake so far, as you mentioned this summer, 3 innings pitched, just 1 run given up, faced those 13 batters we saw him pitch earlier this season. As here he comes in a tough situation with the bases loaded here, but again, 2 outs, force out at any base.
So let's recap. Brett Ott is at third on a walk. Jacob Hauk is at second, and now it's Peltier at first. Brennan Wright is due up, just as Nathan Lake finishes up his warm-up pitches, with Diego Pena behind the plate.
Well, if Wright were to reach base here, this would be the 2nd time this game that the Big Train would bat around, as they did so back in the 4th.
The fourth unique pitcher for the Aces.
Now batting for the big train.
The Aces find themselves in a jam here
Shortstop.
with the bases loaded once more. 10-run deficit in the top of the 6th inning. Lake's first offering of the day. He just pushes across a strike against Brennan Wright. The 0-1 pitch. This one towards Riley Norton. And it's a chase to first, and he's on it, on the bag on time to strand 3 on base. And the infield looking good for the Aces. No errors for the Aces so far.
After the middle of the 6th, big train 12 and the Aces 2.
So when we come back to the top of the 7th, it will be Peyton Steele due up. It's only 1 hit, though, for the big train off of 3 runs.
Yeah, only 1 hit in that inning, and really that was just from the mistakes of both the pitching staff and from the errors. I mean, they went in that inning, hit by pitch, error, walk, then the base hit, then another hit batter before they finally retired the side. So really, that's a lot of unforced errors by the Aces there. That's a lot unlike what we saw back in the 4th inning when they put the 6th spot up. That's just kind of ugly baseball right there for the Aces. That has to be corrected.
Can be corrected with this lineup of Hankerson, Pena, and Powell. Hankerson and Powell each had themselves a hit in their last at-bat. Both of them singles. So now it's James Gladden, number 31.
Now pitching for the big train.
Yeah.
Number 31.
Plays ball for University of Maryland. Going up against Hankerson, another Terrapin.
Well, the book is closed on Bellis right there. 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, 2 walks, and then 12 strikeouts for Bellis here in this game today. Hankerson, Pena, Powell, like you said, it'll be 5, 6, and 7 here in the bottom of the 6th. And this is within the frame of a run rule potential. We'll see if that's in effect for this game here today. I've been told the run rule is up 10 after 7, just like it is in college baseball. So if the Aces were to not score over the next 2 innings, I wonder if this game will be called here due to a mercy rule. But still lots of baseball left to be played here.
Still a lot of baseball to be played. Here comes Hankerson.
Leading off for the Aces, E.J. Hankerson.
Either way, this is going to be great conversation filler for both Gladden and Hankerson in the next spring season.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
It could be, hey, you shouldn't have struck me out. You could have gave me a walk.
Yeah, exactly. Well, all these pitchers here in this league trying to help out their future careers. And for those guys that are in the portal, again, more tape, more stuff to be shown here this summer.
James Gladden made the start in the opening day game against the Grays. And a shocker.
Yeah, just 2 innings pitched so far this season by Gladden. 2 strikeouts, pitched to a 4.50 ERA.
After the foul ball and the ball early on, 1 ball, 1 strike, the 1-1 pitch. Hankerson not coming across the plate. He just looks at it again. So it's 2 balls, 1 strike with nobody out. 2 runs for the Aces, 12 runs, the story of the day for the big train. And in a hurry, it is 3 balls, 1 strike. 3-1.
Yeah, and I think that his job is not
Foul to fill up the count. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
He used to work for the Reds, but lived in upstate New York.
Well, he might be scouting players in upstate.
Painted off, and Hankerson is aboard.
Well, that's a good job by Hankerson getting the leadoff walk. Leadoff walks, good things happen. Here comes Diego Pena, who's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts today.
Hankerson is aboard on a leadoff walk.
Diego Pena.
Pena, the 3rd strikeout of the day for Billis in his first plate appearance, and then the 9th one in the 4th. Up high for ball 1.
I think you're looking for individuals, like you're looking at how, I think you're looking at spray charts for the hitters. And you're looking at how fast these guys are throwing, how, like, their RPM.
The 1-0. This one chopped right in front of the first baseman Gonzalez. And the out as the pitcher Gladden steps over the bag before the batter comes up to the bag.
Well, that's a really nice play right there by Emilio Gonzalez, fielding that ground ball and throwing it back over to the pitcher for a big first out there and killed potentially any momentum that the Aces will have in this inning.
Correction, Michael Powell.
Pena's out on a ground out 3-1. It's now to Powell. Last at bat, a single, and represented the 3rd outfielder's choice. Left Cooper Hums aboard on base. Gladden ahead of the count. 0-1 pitch looking at his Terrapins teammate. And Powell is in it, 0-2. The 0-2 with 1 out. Hankerson tagged up to second. The umpire at home has to take a breather. But in the infield, a lot of representation for the UMD program.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, that's not surprising as well. You know, a lot of guys, University of Maryland, stick around over the summer, play in the summer league. Seems to work out well for them. And especially, why not play in Bethesda as well? Super close. College Park.
Yeah. All right. Play will resume in a moment. Back at the plate, 0-2 for Michael Powell. Looking to get his second hit of the day. Struck out in the 2nd inning. And now Gladden. This is going to unwind the 0-2 pitch. And a strikeout, a cold one at that. 2nd out in the inning.
And now we have the left fielder, Cooper Holmes.
So now to Cooper Hums with 2 outs and a player aboard at second. He takes a good look at ball 1, screaming in. And runner takes off. Hankerson in a bit of a pickle. He's got a guy screaming at his backside, and now the throw back to home, to second. And the 3rd out on Hankerson. And we're talking about it. You see it on your screen right there. Gladden and Hankerson. They're having a quick word with each other.
Yeah, that's exactly
and with
right.
grins on their faces, too.
Yeah, college teammates picking each other off right there, but a tough way for the Aces to end that inning.
No runs, no hits, nobody left. After 6 full innings of play, the Big Train 12 and the Aces 2. All right. Pull out those 50-50 raffle tickets. The winning number is
Cooper Hums left on base in the inning.
6-4.
But the difference is the Aces don't get another run in. Back in the 4th and 5th innings, they had 1 run each.
If you have that ticket, report to. You know.
Peyton Steele due up. Logan Panett and Emilio Gonzalez on deck after him, with Nathan Lake looking for his next appearance in this game. In relief of Jovin Gil. They ended the inning in the 6th with the ground out right towards Riley Norton.
Once again, the winning ticket, 152-6401.
But for a guy who's moving up into the collegiate leagues, just like Nathan Lake, what do you look for in summer ball?
Well, the biggest thing in summer ball is just getting outs, right? I mean, at the end of the day, regardless of what level you're at, it's still baseball. So, especially as a pitcher, you want to get outs, you want to get quick outs, you want to limit runs. I mean, at the same time, the expectations are the same for you here as they are back at your school back in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
It's just here you may have more opportunities, so you have to make the most of your opportunities here in summer ball.
Yeah. In the Ripken League as well. 20th season of play. Would have been 21st. But 2020, obviously COVID season, was canceled. So the offering to Peyton Steele, it is ball 1 towards the outer half, that is. Strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike to start off the top of the 7th inning. 2-1 count. And now Lake unwinds to 2-1. Same side of the zone. 3-1 count. Now the 3-1 and a leadoff walk to start things off.
Yeah, Peyton Steele leadoff walk there again. Not what you want to do if you're the Aces, giving up the leadoff walk.
Third baseman, Logan Ponnet.
Nobody out. Big Train still preserving their 10-run lead. They also have 10 hits in comparison to the 6 for the Aces. The Aces have 2 runs. And a big-time swing and a miss for Panett.
Do you know who's at short for us right now? It looks like 31, but he's a pitcher, so I can't see that far. Here.
So a change at shortstop, Noah Hout. Noah Hout at short. So Derek Almeida, not in the infield. The throw to first, not in time. It is a strikeout back at home, and a man on base is safe. And here comes Emilio Gonzalez.
Emilio Gonzalez.
First strikeout of the day for Nathan Lake. They're just looking at first. Think of it this way. plenty of stolen bases for the big train. We talked about it before.
Yeah, plenty of them today, and they're really not trying to have steal second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I was tripped up by my words for a second. I'm like, no, that's the right thing to say.
Yeah, Peyton Steele has only one stolen base. The infield doesn't have many, but the outfield generally has 3 or 4. Emilio Gonzalez with a good eye. Keeps him still up to bat. 1 player aboard with 1 out. Runner takes off, and a hit that goes up the right side.
Well, Steele slid into second. You got to wonder if he kept running there, if he could have potentially gone to third. But Emilio Gonzalez with the base hit here. 1 out base hit, runners at first and second.
Now batting.
Yep. Steele moves up to second, as we mentioned. So 2 players aboard. Steele is in scoring position with Skoronsky up to bat. Skoronsky, 2 hits, a single in the second, and a 2 RBI double to plate across Peltier and Brennan Wright.
Okay. All right.
He's going to take a look at strike 1. Yo 1. Everybody stays in their respective bases. It is 1 ball, 1 strike. Peyton Steele at second. Got on base on a walk. And Emilio Gonzalez with a 1-out single up the right side. And now the 1-1 swung on a miss.
Yeah, that's a nice slider off-speed pitch right there by Lake to get it back ahead in this count. Ground ball would be perfect here. A nice double play to end this inning and give you a chance to hopefully not be run ruled, if that is in effect tonight. Unsure yet if that rule will be in place here tonight.
Ball 2. What a great frame by Diego Pena. You looked at it. We're right next to him. It's just he had it in his glove, and then he wrapped it around his body. So now 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. And they're just going to have to reset. Steele ever so close to trying to move to third. And Gonzalez is at first. 2-2 pitch. And a full count.
Well, the count is full now, and the last thing you want to do is walk the bases loaded again, and it seems like the A's have been doing a whole lot of that so far in this game today.
Payoff pitch. And they got him. A swinging strikeout to retire another. To bring up Parker Corbin. Did most of his damage early on in this game. An RBI double. After that, a looking strikeout, a ground out, and a walk. Runner takes off. Ball 1 at home. And he's safe at second. Both him and Gonzalez steal third and second respectively.
Well, yeah, the big train went for the double steal right there, and it worked to their favor. So now you've got 2 runners in scoring position here with 2 outs, and a base hit could potentially give them another 2 runs.
The 1-0. Strike 1.
Well, that's a really tough pitch to come around on if you're Parker Corbin right there. That lefty-lefty outside fastball is a really tough one to hit. It's a good job by him laying off that one, honestly.
1-1 in the same side, the glove side, and it is outside. So it's 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Even count on a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Top of the 7th. Big Train lead at 12-2. 2 outs in this inning, 2 players in scoring position. And it's a chopper right to Hout, and he throws to first and out to retire the side. Nathan Lake looks sharp. They strand 2 heading into the middle of the 7th in Alexandria. Going into the bottom of the 7th here, the Aces looking to get the rally going as they are trailing the big train at home, 12-2. Ali here with Drew Stahl and Drew. Lovely day for baseball, but the circumstances, something you'd want to take away.
Well, yeah, when the Aces kind of went down 9-0 in the 4th inning, we knew we could potentially be in for a bit of a longer game here. And an unfortunate result here. The Aces, though, I've been impressed with their ability to battle back. They haven't laid down just yet. But again, unclear if this is going to be a run rule game or not. So again, with the big train being up 10 runs here in the bottom of the 7th, if the run rule were in place, the Aces are down in their final 3 outs. If not, we'll have some more baseball for you here. But again, the Aces really need to get something going here. 10 runs is a big, big ask, but it's not crazy.
Thank you.
I said that, didn't I?
Way easier than figuring that out.
I said that, didn't I? I said it, Noah. No, Hout, I said it.
What?
Hey, I said it to you guys.
No,
Hout.
how? Okay.
Yeah, I said that.
Alright.
He's usually number 37.
Oh, 37.
Yeah.
So
So James Gladden getting ready for a second inning pitch. If he can get 3 outs in this inning, going up against the leadoff batter and John Colligan. No, Cooper Hums, that is, and he's going to ground it to short, and the throw to first and the out. Cooper Hums let things off, grounded out early on, so now it is Colligan due up. Colligan, Huber, Almeida after Cooper Hums' ground out. Ball 1 for John Colligan on his first offering in the bottom of the 7th. One-0 pitch. And immediately, John Colligan is up in the count. 2-0. Swung on and missed for Colligan. The pitch inside for Colligan. 3-1 count with 1 out and the big train lead at 12-2 in the bottom of the 7th. Nobody on. Gladden unwinds the 3-1. Strike 2 towards the outer half.
That was a really nice slider there thrown by Gladden to get himself back in the count. Kind of go full here. Big pitch coming.
Big payoff pitch on the way. Gladden looking very, very good. And he'll walk a player. A 1-out walk for Colligan to spring aboard.
Well, Colligan's had a really good game so far today. He's been on base all 3 times. with a double
Lead off
and a
batter,
single, and now he just
Huber.
walked. Colligan, in my opinion, has earned himself some more opportunities out in right field, or at least in the lineup here today. Getting on bases 3 times versus this big train pitching staff. That's legit, especially with what we've seen from from Bellis and Gladden so far in this game today.
High ball one for Toby Huber. Only 1 hit back in the first, but was caught stealing. 2-4. And then a walk and a strikeout to boot. Colligan aboard at first. The pitch is inside. Gladden unwinds to 2-0. Foul ball.
Yeah, and we have been told there is going to be a run rule in place tonight. So the Aces are now down to their final 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
3-1 low and away.
And that does change the complexity of the game a little bit again. It's essentially the bottom of the 9th here for the Aces. Again, with them being down 10, a run here would extend this game.
3-1 pitch with 1 out. And Huber is going to move up to first on a walk. 1 out walk twice.
Who is this?
And here is number 38. That is Noah Hout coming up to bat.
37, which is right
Now batting for the Aces. What's his name?
Noah Hout, the rising sophomore from the University of Richmond. Getting some work up to bat. 2 players on, and he looks at strike 1. So both Huber and Colligan are aboard on 1 out walks. Noah Hout playing short.
Well,
Takes a look at strike 2.
Back-to-back walks surrendered so far by Gladden in this game, in this inning today. But again, the big train just 2 outs away from ending this one.
A good eye for Hout keeps him in the battle. So it's 1 ball, 2 strikes with 1 out. Colligan at second and Huber at first. Sun setting here at Frankman Field with the 1-2 on the way. And yet again, the catcher is shaken up. 2 players will move up to third and second safely.
Well, that's really big right there for the Aces. I mean,
Jacob Hauk.
You just need 1 run for the Aces to extend this game. Now you've got that run that you need to keep extending this game at third base with just 1 out.
Back at home, 2 balls, 2 strikes. With most likely a run rule in play, as you mentioned early on, Drew Stahl, and that's a great call by you. 10-run deficit for the Aces at home. Both teams coming into this one, 3 wins, 3 losses.
Once again, look around for your cell phone.
The Aces are trailing 2 games behind the top seeded overall in the Ripken League in the Senators. 5-1 is their record. And in the North for the Big Train, they're behind against the only Crop Dusters at 4-2. We'll play them Friday night in Olney, Montgomery County.
Yeah, the Aces. But before that, we'll have a home game here for you tomorrow night here in Alexandria.
Yes, against the Senators. We're just talking about them.
Yeah, Senators, who are first place in the Southern Division, 5-1, with a 2-game lead over the Aces.
And a punch out for Hout.
Well, that's a big strike 3 called right there, as now the Aces down to their final out in this inning. If they don't plate any more runs, this game will end in a run rule.
Now batting, Gavin Miller.
Gavin Miller had himself an RBI double to plate across call again. Back in the 5th. Other than that, a strikeout and got on base, fielder choice safe. And he looks in strike 1.
Yeah, it's a really nice pitch on the outside for strike 1 there by Gladden.
Gladden coming after his 12th strikeout of the game to retire Hout. Looking to strand 2 players on base to end the game. It's Huber at second, and at third is Colligan. They both moved up after a shaking up Hauk went to the dirt.
Yeah, well, now the Aces down to their final strike in this game. See what Gavin Miller can do here.
0-2 pitch, screaming into the zone. And it was inside. The 1-2 from Gladden. Popped nearly foul, but Emilio Gonzalez is going to have to glove it, and he does.
No run.
Well,
To end the game.
well, with the way that these teams are acting, I don't know if this game is over. Or is it? Seems to be a lot of confusion.
Well, we'll continue on here.
Really? We've been told the run rule is 12 after 7.
The run rule is not 10, it's 12. We got 2 more innings of baseball.
So it was a foul out to retire Gavin Miller. What a great play by Emilio Gonzalez to glove that. But he didn't have to move too far.
No, he really didn't. And, you know, 12 runs did turn out to be the run rule. I could tell by kind of how the 2 teams were acting after the inning that this game wasn't officially over just yet. The big train up 10. But again, remember, Ali, if the big train could plate 2 or more in the top of the 8th, again, that same situation would apply to the 8th. We don't necessarily have to go to the 9th if the big train are now up 12 after 8.
So it's 8-9-1. Brett Ott, the left fielder, to start things off.
I don't think he wants to be here anymore.
Not down 10. If we were up 10, I'd love being here.
Okay, new pitcher? 27?
That's Aiden Vanenkafort from Grand Valley State, another Grand Valley State pitcher up on the mound.
Yeah, lots of Grand Valley State guys here, especially for the Aces.
Aiden. And
Now pitching for the Aces, Aiden Von Enkenvoort from Grand Valley State University. He was 12 when he learned
Yeah, Jovin Gil, though, really impressive. So it goes to show you what type of a competition that's over there in Grand Valley State.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And you got to give a shout out to Nathan Lake as well. 1.1 innings, just 1 hit, no runs given up, 2 strikeouts as well. Another good outing by Nate Lake as well.
No, they scored 2 and we don't. So.
do they call it after 8 though?
It's really just anything after 7.
Anything after
All right, as we move on to the top of the 8th. Big Train up 10 runs, 12-2. And it is Brett Ott to start things off. A walk in the 6th. This is the top of the 8th. He had himself a double, was plated in after an RBI single from Hauk. Let's see what Aiden does here. His first offering. Just a bit wide. Aiden Vaninkavort getting some action here in the late stages of the ballgame.
Well, Van Gamper, he's the guy that we saw out in Silver Spring playing right field. So again, a guy who can do a little bit of both. Just on Monday, he played right field out in Silver Spring, 0 for 4. Now he gets on the bump here against the Big Train.
And pushes through ball 2 against Brett Ott. Brett Ott looking comfortable as the Big Train do. Up by 10 runs, and he's going to look at strike 1. Ball 4 to give a free pass out to Brett Ott.
Well, there's been a lot of leadoff walks in this game, so it's not surprising that we're at where we're at right now with the number of leadoff walks that the Aces have given up here today.
So now Jacob Hawk, a bit shaken, as most catchers are most these days. A liner drops in front of Hankerson. And a no-out single to put 2 players at second and first. It's Brett Ott at second and Hauk.
Well, that's a really nice hit right there by Hawk. Hawk's had a really good game today. He's 3 for 4 with a walk. And if your 9-hole hitter is producing that amount of production, that's how you know you've got a really good 1 through 9 in your lineup. As the lineup will turn over now for the 6th time this game, it's going to be Alex Peltier.
Yeah, the Wilmington, North Carolina guy. Looking to plate across the 13th run of the day. He's just going to take a look at ball 1 in his first look.
Well, again, as we mentioned, run rule is 12 after 7. So should these 2 runners score here, the Aces will be down to their final 3 outs in the bottom of the 8th.
1 ball, 1 strike as he pushes across the pitch low and away. The 1-1 pitch with 2 on and nobody out. And 1 will move and the other one will move as well. So that is out and Hauk. That'll move up.
Well, that's exactly what the Big Train wanted if they want to have this be a run rule. Now you've got your 2 go-ahead runs that you need to force the run rule at second and third with no outs. And with the way the Big Train have been playing so far today, there's lots of reason to believe that they can plate those guys in.
They both move up on a wild pitch, that is. 2-1. Swing on a miss. Well, you got to wonder, though. Ahead of the count, trying to swing for the fences. I think it's that confidence building with the batters in the Big Train. Nobody out. 2-2. And he is out on a swinging strikeout. 1 out to bring up Brennan Wright, who grounded out in the 6th.
Brennan Wright.
Does not have a hit, but has a walk back in the 4th inning. And the first strikeout of the day for Aiden Vaninkavort to retire Peltier. 1 out, 2 on, and he pumps across the strike.
Well, he's throwing hard at here. We've been told he's throwing 93, which is pretty good, especially here in this league.
0-1, and a swing and miss. Brett Ott at third and Hauk at second. A single for Hauk to put him on base. And Aiden Vanenkevoort has the second straight strikeout, this one swinging yet again.
Well, that's a really nice way to kind of come back in this inning and keep yourself alive. After getting off the leadoff walk and then a base hit, back-to-back strikeouts. As here comes Peyton Steele. He's 0 for 3 today, but has been on base 2 times, getting hit by a pitch and a walk.
Yep. One occurred in the 4th, the hit by pitch, and the walk in the 7th. And he has a good eye. He looks at ball 1. The 1-0. Downstairs.
Yeah.
2-1 screams across. And it's a strike to keep Peyton Steele at bay. With 2 outs, Big Train up by 10 runs, 12-2, Vanenkevoort unwinds the 2-1 and evens up the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, after what looked like a chance for the Big Train to potentially force themselves into a run rule victory, Vanenkevoort seems to have found kind of a second gear and is now bringing in all of his strikeout pitches as he's 1 strikeout away from getting out of this inning.
This one pops foul. Towards the right side. Vanenkevoort, the 2-2 pitch, just away from Pena to spring him through a 13th run of the day. It won't happen after the throw to first. Vanenkevoort looks sharp as they strand 3 players on base. Drew, what a play.
Yeah, well, that was a really nice play, and this game will now go the distance as we know it, with no run rule being in effect in here for the 8th, which means we will get a 9th inning.
Hits, 2 men left on base.
And so,
The 8th is Big Train 12.
so who comes out here for the Big Train? Looks like we might be getting a new pitcher, and we do. New pitcher for the Big Train is going to be Trevor Orth out of Roanoke, the senior out of Lorton, Virginia.
He was warming up in the bullpen mound a couple of innings ago. Finally gets work in relief of Jeremy Gladden, or James Gladden, that is. So Trevor Orth will pitch to Riley Norton, Hankerson, and Pena to start things off in the bottom of the 8th. Trevor Orth, the rising senior, plays ball at Roanoke College.
I haven't figured that out.
Leading off for the Aces here in the bottom of the 8th, first baseman Riley Norton.
Riley Norton still looking for his first hit of the day. 3 strikeouts. And chases after the first pitch he sees.
Well, Riley Norton today 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. We've seen a lot of strikeouts out of Norton so far this season.
Already the 0-1 pitch on the way. Norton.
Well, that is a quick way to fall down 0-2.
But you got to give props to Norton. Very confident. He makes contact, but that goes foul. So we'll redo the 0-2 pitch. Here comes... And a punch out. The second straight punch out to retire Norton.
Well, that's the 15th strikeout of the day combined by the big train pitchers.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that just kind of goes back. Kind of this approach. Here comes Hankerson.
Has one hit today. Hankerson looks at ball 1. Trevor Orth plays ball at Roanoke College, is from Lorton, Virginia. Probably a couple of blocks away from South County High where the Braves play. The 1-0 on the way. Hankerson check swings, and that one goes into the fence. Two 2-1, he was chasing. And it's an even count. 2 balls, 2 strikes with 1 out. Norton the out. The even-handed count. And it's full as the ball went into the dirt. Hankerson engaged and awaiting the 3-2 pitch. And he will move up to first. The one-out walk for Hankerson.
Well, that's now the 3rd straight at-bat that Hankerson has reached base. He had a hit back in the 4th, and then he's now had back-to-back walks in the 6th and the 8th inning. He's been a bright spot today for this Aces lineup.
A bright spot as Diego Pena looks to get on base himself. The appeal to first, strike 1.
Diego Pena.
Well, Pena today's 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts. A little bit of a rough day for the Aces backstop.
Diego Pena low on his stance, awaits the 1-1 pitch with 1 out. Strike 2. Trying to paint it wide, it was Trevor Orth. It's an even count yet again. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Pena, 1 out. The out on Norton. And the first strikeout for Orth.
Oh, it's inside on
full
him.
Count.
Yeah, full count here to Pena.
Big Train lead at 12-2. In the bottom of the 8th, the Orth delivers the pitch, and it's fouled over yet again. But this time, it is Gonzalez who's going to glove the foul out and retire the second out in Pena to bring up one more in Michael Powell.
Well, now the inning will be up to Michael Powell, as you said. He's 1 for 3 today, 2 strikeouts, and then had that base hit back in the 4th inning.
Third baseman, Michael Powell.
Michael Powell had himself the single back in the fourth. We talk about E.J. Hankerson and Powell returning guys for the Aces as Powell looks at ball one towards the lower half. And they've been focal points.
Well, for the Aces, the big guy that I'm looking at is E.J. Hankerson. He's been on base 3 times today, including his last 3 at-bats.
And he's on board right now. And a hit by pitch for Michael Powell. 2 key guys are on base to bring up Cooper Hums.
Yeah, well, Hums been struggling a little bit today. He's 0 for 3.
Left fielder, Cooper Hums.
So, of all the big train pitchers, that's the first hit by pitch surrendered. So 2-1 with 2 out. And Hums awaiting his first offering in the inning. Orth pushes across the strike. The 0-1 from Orth. Screams foul into the
That was the closest
fence.
foul ball I think we've had so far this season. Just kind of, we've had a lot go on over to our
Yep.
right and further to our left. That one was close to us. I mean, obviously the fence is there. Nothing's going to happen, but, you know, closest one to us.
Frank Manfield here at Commonwealth Avenue in Alexandria, Delray section. 1-2 after ball 1. 2 outs for the Aces in the bottom of the 8th. Hankerson in scoring position at second. And now the pitch. This one is a fly ball that goes foul towards the left-hand side.
Yeah, but if your stats are awful or great on an awful team, they don't mean that.
1 ball, 2 strikes for Cooper Hums. Looking to get on base and bring up another batter. Potential third in Hankerson trying to move up. This is a high fly ball for shallow left field, and it's gloved by the center fielder and Alex Peltier to end the inning, stranding 2 players on base.
No run, no hits, 2 men left on base. And
Top of the 9th here at Frank Manfield, the Aces trailing the big train 10 runs. It's 12-2. Ali here with Drew Stahl. Drew, first week of Aces baseball, 3-3, as they trail this game by 10 runs. What are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, not the best performance here by the Aces today. few positives, but mainly this one's kind of been all big train here today. Really from the get-go, I mean, putting up 3 in the second and then a 6 spot in the fourth, making it 9-0 in the fourth inning. You know your odds of coming back are very slim, and that's exactly what's happened here today.
So now it's Peyton Steele up against Braden Welsh.
Yeah. It's number 6.
Logan Panett.
Logan Panett against Braden Walsh. This one in front of Houts, and he's going to throw it on over for Norton. Almost airmailed it. He was able to glove it, but he stepped off the bag.
Yeah, well, we'll see what they score that.
It's an infield single.
They're going to call that an error on the shortstop. Hot. As Logan Pono will now be on base.
Yeah, you're right. An error committed, and the Aces have their first error in this game.
Yeah, first error of the day for the Aces so far, and first error in the game. But again, definitely a high throw right there.
Braden Welsh takes a good look at Panett at first. Got on base safely.
Welch's pitch.
Strike for Emilio Gonzalez. Panett at first off of a throwing error from Hout, the shortstop. And that one's into the dirt. It's 2 balls, 1 strike, Drew.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're kind of in the last inning here. Big train in firm control. But again, more opportunities here for these big train batters to get some more at-bats. Same for the Aces as well.
Braden Welsh just pumped it a little bit wide of the zone. It moves up Panett to second. And now the 3-1 with no outs. Braden Welsh looks at second and now throws the pitch to the plate. And it is fouled away. Full count after the foul ball from Emilio Gonzalez. Cape Coral, Florida native. Panett's at second. To pay it off is Welsh. And a walk for Gonzalez to put 2 on the bag. 1 at first and the other one at second. Panett at second.
Well,
Gonzalez at first.
Lots and lots of walks today so far for the Aces pitchers. That's the 9th walk of the day surrendered by Aces pitchers, and that's when you kind of know it's not exactly your day. I mean, 9 walks is, you're never going to win a baseball giving up 9 free bases like that.
And this one just stays foul. It was a liner hugging the right field line. And Skronsky is going to go back up to the box. Back up to the plate is Skronsky. Lines it foul. So now it is 0-1. Nobody out, 2 players on, and the pitch from Welch. Tries to widen the zone vertically. 1 ball, 1 strike to Skronsky here in the top of the 9th. even count. Back into the backstop fencing.